We had a real oral tradition in our house. I knew the word griot when I was a little boy. A griot was a person in Africa who was charged with keeping the stories of the village. Everyone would tell a griot the stories and they would remember them all so that they could tell future generations. And when they got old, they'd tell them to someone else. And they say in Africa, when a griot dies, it's like a library was burnt, man.
The griots were these brilliant African storytellers who learned for generations, the father, the son, mother, daughter, the stories of their people, their kings, their lands, etc., and so forth. In order to instruct others, they would have these huge sessions where they would sit around and pass these stories down and instruct people and so forth.
And the griot is the man who sits down there, who knows the history, who knows every single story that is important, relevant for that kingdom.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Griot's Word. This is part 2 of episode 11. Of course, that means story time. So when I go through and I pick my stories, I have a shit ton of stories I can pick, but I want to pick ones that have a meaning or message, as at least to me, right? So I've already told a couple stories about my escapades in Japan. So I'm gonna tell you one that deals with probably my biggest lesson while I've been in the service when I got back to the States. So going from Japan, where you can drink at the age of 20, I wasn't able to drive. I had been over there long enough to where I forgot completely about state laws. So being drunk was a normal thing for me in Japan. I got in trouble a couple times, but I learned my lessons, right? So I come back to the States, buy a brand new car, and I'm drinking on base. Now, I should have known better because, I've heard this before in life, and, my command had put it out a couple times, but I didn't pay attention, and I'm not going to call it a mistake. I'm going to say I made an error, and I owned up to it. So I was drinking. I think I had like 3 MD 2020s, a couple 211s, and some more alcohol. Got in my car. We were drinking at the barracks, and I decided to drive off base. It's like maybe 2 miles off base from where I was at. Now, I had waited a while to feel like I was sober enough to drive, but I shouldn't have drove, period, because I still had consumed alcohol. So I hit the corner, and I noticed there's a car behind me, and as soon as I get to the front gate, I see the lights. They pulled me over. In my head, I'm like, damn, they got me. This little MA, or I was on a Marine Corps base, so this little MP, he comes walking up to my door, asks me to step out. I'm scared shitless because I'm like, damn, I already don't like cops. I know that, on basis MPs, but, if you know, in any situation that deal with police officers, and you being the one that they coming for, that can be scary. So I get out the car, and the first thing I notice is dude comes up to my hip. So that, the other MPs, they all short too. So I already feel like I'm intimidating them just by the way that they talking to me, but that wasn't a bad experience. They were nice, polite. They asked me to do stuff. I did exactly what they asked me to do until they asked me to go ahead and take that breathalyzer test. I said no. So in the state of Virginia, if you refuse to take a breathalyzer test, that is an automatic consent saying that you did drink and drive and that you're guilty. And I took that hit. So, long story short, I ended up having to call for a character witness as far as military proceedings, someone that knew me in the past. Going back to Japan, my LPO, who got me out of a lot of stuff. Like, I would be been out of the military, but he always had my back and he always stood up for me. But he used to tell me all the time, you have to change what you're doing or it's going to catch up to you. And here I am back in the States, alcohol, and I made a dumb decision. And here it is catching up with me. So he ended up calling my chain of command once again, fighting for me. This time I had to take the hit, which I did. I owned up to it, fessed up to it. I didn't lie. I didn't try and get out of it. I did this. The lesson that I learned there was that when you do something wrong, you have to own up and fess up to it and then move forward. Because at the end of the day, if you keep doing stuff and then you don't, by the time it gets you later on by the time it bites you in the ass later on, it can be 10 times worse. You know? So you guys really, really, really please start thinking about your life decisions. Think about the effects of whatever it is can have later on. Alcohol can cause a lot of issues. Either learn how to drink right and how to handle yourself right when you're drinking, or don't drink. Find something else. You know? Just be very conscious of the decisions you make in life. Because as you grow up, those decisions, they affect you and others. Like, you gotta be responsible. So I learned that lesson then. I did and was able to bounce back. I worked very hard to bounce back from that mistake. But when I do go places, I tell people about that story, because that's one of those stories that I have that can help somebody else. You know, people go through this all the time, every day. I don't look at them like they're bad people. I just let them know, hey, you know, those type of decisions have consequences. Luckily, they stopped me on base, because had I left base and then had I hit somebody, or had I hit somebody that had kids in their car, like, it could have went 10 times worse. I could be dead. So be thankful for these type of situations, because you learned a lesson out of that process. It helped you grow. I was talking to a friend last night from Japan, and he told me, he said, man, you still got that cool, laid back personality, but you seem like different. And I told him, I said, yeah, man, I've matured a lot. And I'm thankful for that. I thank God for that every day. So just something to keep in mind. If you can take something from that, I hope I helped you out. If not, that's cool too. You got to hear a story. Now you know a little bit more about me. Y'all have a good day, man. Peace.